Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something pretty fascinating?
Yeah, this should be interesting.
We're going to be looking at how the design of your workspace can actually impact like your brain power and how creative you could be.
That's right.
We spend so much time at work, so
Yeah,
why not make those spaces work for us? So
exactly.
we're going to be checking out this booklet
Okay.
called Design for Mental Well-Being, Make Space for Your Brain at Work.
Catchy title.
It is, and it's by this company called Alika Space Design, and they're known for creating some pretty awesome workspaces.
I've seen some of their work, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to find out what their secrets are, basically.
Yeah, well, I think one of the most interesting things is that they challenge that traditional view of work being confined to a static environment.
Right, like the cubicle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The cubicle, the desk, you're stuck there all day, and,
Ta-ta.
that can leave you feeling pretty drained. I think we've all felt that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And their approach is all about variety. And Leica CEO Lean Becker Bang, she actually compares it to like having a balanced diet for your brain.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, she suggests incorporating things like different layouts in the office,
Yeah.
walking breaks even, having some designated playtime.
Free time at work.
At work, yeah, you got to have a little fun to be creative, right?
I mean, it makes sense.
Our brains actually evolved in dynamic environments.
Right, constantly adapting.
To new challenges and stimuli. So when we introduce that variety into our workspaces,
Yeah,
we're kind of tapping into our brain's natural wiring for growth and innovation.
so it's like giving your brain a workout, but for creativity.
Exactly.
I like that.
And Leica isn't just talking the talk, they're actually walking the talk. Their office in Copenhagen is designed for what they call activity-based working.
Activity-based working. So
Yeah.
what does that even mean?
Well, it means creating different zones within a workspace for specific tasks.
Yeah.
So, for example, imagine having a dedicated focus room where you can escape distractions and do your deep work.
That sounds nice.
And then when you're ready to brainstorm with colleagues,
Yeah.
you can move to a collaborative space that's designed to spark interaction, complete with whiteboards and flexible furniture.
Okay, so not just switching up your tasks, but actually like physically moving to a different space.
That's right.
I could see how that would keep things interesting for your brain, but wouldn't that get kind of chaotic in practice?
Well, that's where thoughtful design comes in, and having a company culture that supports it. You need to establish clear guidelines and really encourage people to embrace the concept.
Okay, makes sense. So you're saying it's not just about the design of the space itself, it's also about how people use it.
Exactly. And there have actually been studies that show that when activity-based working is implemented effectively, employees report increased focus, reduced stress levels, and they feel more in control of their work environment.
I can definitely see that, like having that sense of autonomy over where you work and how you work.
Absolutely.
So you're basically giving your brain a workout, but for creativity and productivity.
That's a great way to put it.
It's making me rethink my own workspace.
Well, and it's not just about physical activity. The booklet also delves into this concept of neurodiversity.
Neurodiversity.
Yeah. Did you know that roughly 1 in 7 employees is neurodivergent?
Wow, 1 in 7. That's a lot of people.
It is, and it means that their brains process information differently, which can impact how they interact with their surroundings.
So in a workspace, what would that look like?
Well, let's say you have an employee with ADHD. A traditional open-plan office with constant noise and movement could be really overwhelming for them.
Yeah, I can imagine that would make it hard to focus.
Exactly, but if you provide them with access to a quiet, distraction-free zone, they can really tap into their full potential.
So it's about recognizing that different brains thrive in different environments.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
And that's where design comes in, by creating spaces that cater to these diverse needs. You're not just benefiting neurodivergent individuals. You're creating a more inclusive and productive environment for everyone.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly. Lean Becker Bang, she puts it really well. She says, embracing neurodiversity is crucial for all truly inclusive workplaces.
It makes sense, and not just from an ethical standpoint, but also a business one, too.
Right. Neurodiversity brings unique perspectives and problem-solving skills to the table, which can lead to greater innovation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how does Leica actually approach designing for neurodiversity in practice?
Well, one striking example is their work for Lego. They designed a space that incorporates A balance of open areas, for collaboration and interaction, but also dedicating quiet zones for focused work.
I see.
They even has like a brainstorming room
Oh, wow.
filled with Lego bricks.
That's
Just to
awesome.
encourage, that playful,
Yeah.
creative energy.
So cool.
Very cool, right?
I'm picturing adults diving into a pool of Legos right now.
Haha.
But seriously, that sounds like an amazing space, and it really highlights how Leica considers, both the science of the brain
Right.
and the needs of their client. It's not just about aesthetics.
Mm.
It's about creating an environment that really supports, how people work and think best.
Exactly. And it kind of brings us back to that key takeaway that our brains aren't meant for these static environments.
Right.
We need change, variety, stimulation to thrive.
Yeah.
Think about how you feel when you've been stuck in one spot for too long.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you feel more energized and creative when you get a change of scenery?
Definitely, even just moving to a different room or taking a walk outside can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
But I am curious. Not all of us work at Lego or have access to these amazing designer offices.
Right.
What about those of us who work from home or in more traditional office settings?
Yeah.
Can we still apply these principles?
Absolutely. You don't need a fancy office to create a brain-friendly workspace.
Oh, good.
Even small changes can make a big difference.
Like what?
Well, think about your own workspace right now.
Okay.
Could you incorporate more natural light?
Okay.
Maybe add some plants or artwork?
Those are good ideas.
Research has shown that our brains actually operate at their best when we involve ourselves in a variety of activities throughout the day.
I see.
So changing things up is key.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually just got a new plant for my desk,
Oh, nice.
and it's amazing how much life it brings to the space.
It really does.
I also try to take regular breaks to stretch and walk around.
Good.
It definitely helps me reset and refocus.
And don't underestimate the power of just changing your posture throughout the day.
Oh, yeah.
Standing desks are becoming really popular.
Yeah, for good reason.
And for good reason. Even just standing up for a few minutes each hour can improve circulation, boost your energy levels, and help you think more clearly.
This has been so insightful. I'm already brainstorming ways to tweak my own workspace.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that's been on my mind.
Yeah, what's that?
With so many companies embracing remote work these days,
Right.
how do these principles apply to home offices and virtual collaboration? It seems like it'd be a lot harder to create those distinct zones and activity-based environments when you're working from, say, your kitchen table.
That's a great question, and it's one that Alika actually addresses in the booklet.
Oh, good.
They emphasize the importance of being intentional about designing our home workspaces,
Okay.
even if it's just a dedicated corner of a room.
Right.
Setting clear boundaries between work life and personal life becomes really crucial.
I can see that being an issue, yeah.
When your office is also your living room?
Yeah, it's easy to let those lines get blurred when you're working remotely. But what about the social and collaborative aspects of a traditional office?
Yeah.
Those water cooler moments, the
Yeah.
brainstorming sessions, the spontaneous interactions.
Right.
How do we replicate that virtually?
That's where technology comes in.
Okay,
We need to leverage tools that facilitate not just communication, but genuine interaction.
I see.
Think virtual coffee breaks, online team building activities,
Yeah.
and platforms that allow for those spontaneous virtual hallway conversations.
That's a good point.
Embracing neurodiversity is crucial for all truly inclusive workplaces.
Yeah.
Creating an environment accommodating special needs can lead to increased creativity and value-adding innovation.
So even though we're talking about remote work,
Yeah.
it's still important to think about inclusivity and how we can make those virtual spaces welcoming for everyone.
Absolutely.
This is really making me rethink the whole concept of a remote work.
It's definitely a shift in mindset,
Yeah.
both for employers and employees.
Right.
We need to recognize that remote work isn't just about working from a different location.
Yeah.
It's about creating a whole new way of working.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've learned about the brain-space connection, activity-based working, neurodiversity,
That's a lot.
and even touched on the future of work in the digital age. It's a lot to take in.
It is. But the main takeaway, I think, is that we have more control over our work environments than we might realize.
Yeah, that's empowering. Whether we're in a traditional office, a home office, or somewhere in between, we can make choices that support our mental well-being and boost our cognitive performance.
I like that.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating challenge, isn't it?
It is, and it's something we all need to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Whether we're designing, physical offices, virtual workspaces,
Right.
or even just our own little corner of the world.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, it's about creating environments that support our well-being and allow our brains to do what they do best.
Right, to think, create, innovate.
Exactly. And that's what I really love about Leica's approach. They're
Yeah.
not just, slapping a coat of paint on an office and calling it a day.
Uh-huh.
They're really digging deep into the research, understanding the science
Yeah.
behind how our brains work,
Mm-hmm.
and then translating that into tangible design solutions.
It's like they're saying, hey, your brain is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's give it a space where it can truly shine.
Yeah, exact.
And that's something we can all get behind, right?
Absolutely. And, the beauty of it is that it doesn't have to be complicated.
Right.
Sometimes the simplest changes can have the biggest impact.
Totally.
Like you mentioned earlier, even just adding a plant to your desk
Yeah.
or taking a few minutes to walk outside can make a world of difference.
It's all about those little tweaks that can shift our mindset
Mm-hmm.
and help us feel more energized and engaged
Yeah.
with our work. So for everyone listening out there, I challenge you to take a look at your own workspace.
Okay.
Whether it's a home office, a cubicle, a co-working space.
Yeah.
What one thing can you change today to make it a little more brain-friendly?
Yeah, good question.
Could you declutter your desk, add some natural light, maybe designate a no-work zone for breaks and relaxation?
Ooh, I like that.
The possibilities are endless.
They really are. And remember, it's an ongoing process.
Right?
There's always room for improvement. And as our work styles evolve, so too should our workspaces.
So true. Well, this has been a truly enlightening deep dive.
Yeah.
We've explored the fascinating connection between our brains and the spaces we inhabit.
Yeah.
Discovered the power of activity-based working and neurodiversity-informed design.
Mm-hmm.
And even pondered the future of work in the digital age.
It's been quite a journey.
It has been.
It's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you.
Likewise.
And I hope our listeners have come away feeling inspired and empowered to create workspaces that support their well-being and unleash their full creative potential.
Couldn't said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this brain-boosting adventure. Until next time, keep those minds sharp and those creative juices flowing.